several reports of corruption in the procurement of essential protective gear rocking the country during the pandemic. But these latest reports are just the latest in a slew of corruption issues facing South Africa. Just what can be done when, even in a pandemic, corruption is rearing its head? Dr. Benni Lekubu joins us now. He's a senior lecturer at the College of Law at UNISA, also an anti-corruption specialist. Dr. Lekubu, good evening to you. We're supposed to have laws and regulations that stop corruption in terms of procurement. What seems to have gone wrong here? Whether the fact that the regulations were suspended because of the emergency, was that the problem?
Stevens, thank you for having me, and thank you for your viewers as well. I think what we have seen now in the past couple of weeks with regards to corruption and PPE corruption that has emanated and has brought out its ugly head in the country. We have laws, and I mean, for instance, when you look at the public procurement bill, which specifically speaks on the advancement of economic opportunities for previously disadvantaged people, women and youth. It also speaks on issues related to ensure that there is value for money, for public funds, for the use of public funds. And this is, I think, one of the issues that we see, that there are laws that exist, but deliberately so, individuals decide to not uphold the law, not uphold the policies that exist in government.
And what it really boils down to then is you can have whatever procedures you like on paper, but if people don't follow them, nothing will stop this from happening.
Indeed, there is absolutely nothing that stops people from following these laws. But then the question is, if there are laws that exist, why are they not implementable? Now, if you look at it, again, you go to the public procurement bill, which then says there must be a regulator that has been appointed that must ensure that each and every province must ensure that there's adequate control over procurement implementation processes, and that they absolutely, on a regular basis, they must then intervene and ensure that there's appropriate steps that have been taken to address if there's a breach on the policy, they must then take control of that situation. Now, what you see as well is that people have policies, people deliberately want to manipulate because there are loopholes on the system. One, you find a situation where somebody intentionally connives with the next person or an official to deliberately maneuver around what the policy is saying. And that is a challenge that we have in South Africa.
And the Treasury itself, could it have done more? I mean, we've heard the Director General and the Minister in the Treasury talking about regulations. Should the Treasury have done more?
Indeed. I think what the Treasury has to do now at this point in time, and this is what we have to do as a matter of agency. One, we have to, the government must also ensure that there is no approach, the approach that we are going to take, there is no holy cows. If we are going to have to deal with corruption, there should be no holy cows where people are going to say no, but this is comradely, the government owes me or apartheid owes me anything. We can't have a situation like that. Secondly, we need to ensure that investigations and prosecutions of members of the political elite, their families, and their acquaintances, we must ensure that there's investigations that are taking place and people are being prosecuted. Thirdly, we must then again make sure that there's action that is being taken from allegations that have been raised from the Zondo Commission. That must take effect as well, because South Africans are eagerly waiting. They are sitting and waiting and saying, the ANC is speaking eloquently about dealing with corruption, but we do not see any action taking place. But what then we say, Treasury again must then ensure that corruptible officials that are sitting in tender boards and their employees or officials must be removed from these boards, because otherwise we are going to find ourselves in a situation where family members, political officials, or acquaintances get these procurement tenders, and we cannot deal with corruption.